What are the business challenges that Via Rail is anticipating in 2020? Well, basically, we want to continue our strong passenger and revenue growth that has been going on since 2014. And at the same time, we need to make sure that we prepare the company for two major projects that are coming. The first one is what we call the fleet replacement project, which is basically integrating 32 train sets into our service in the corridor, which is the service that we operate between Quebec City and Windsor. The second key project is an announcement that was done last June as it relates to a joint project office between the Canada Infrastructure Bank and Via Rail to review the business case of the high-frequency rail project to enable the Government of Canada to come up with an investment decision. The high-frequency rail project, or what we call the HFR project, is basically to build and operate dedicated passenger rail service between Quebec, Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto. You may or may not know that in Canada, passenger rail service basically runs on third-party infrastructure, which is infrastructure owned by our freight railways. So what we're looking to make sure that we can continue our growth, passenger and revenue growth, and obviously better serve Canadians, is to build and operate our own dedicated tracks in that corridor. So how does the legal and risk department support the organization as a whole? First of all, the department consists of approximately 15 legal and risk management professionals. Our mission is to ensure that we offer timely and solution-driven legal and risk management advice, which is aligned on our strategic and annual business objectives. As it relates to the risk management team, we obviously have put in place and are managing an enterprise risk management system, which has identified and assessed the different risks to our operation, given certain tolerances and certain appetites. On the legal point, what we try to do with our lawyers is we try to embed them into our business units. So each lawyer is responsible for a certain number of business units, and so he gets to understand their challenges, gets to obviously align his personal objectives with their personal objectives, which really, I think, drives the message to make sure that we respect the mission of the department. How do we deal with risk management and compliance? Well, obviously, as a federal crown corporation, compliance is paramount. We cannot be viewed as not being able to comply to laws and regulations that are being enacted by our shareholder, the Government of Canada. So to ensure that we are able to always demonstrate our compliance, we monitor and have a system in place every time a new legislation or regulation that impacts our operation is enacted. We basically pick up the ball early, make sure we communicate with the different business units that are impacted, and basically shepherd them along to ensure that they have an action plan and we can demonstrate our compliance to those laws and regulations. From a risk management perspective, again, I manage also the risk management group. We talked about that earlier, but it's important for our lawyers or our risk managers to always provide what I call business advice, which is not necessarily related to their own expertise, but also to the objectives of the company. So always understand what our objectives are and provide basically business advice, which includes their legal or their risk management advice, but also is aligned with understanding what the company is looking to achieve through its annual objectives. How do we approach working with external counsels and in which areas? Well, basically the legal department is pretty self-sufficient, and so we do all the contractual and commercial work in-house. As it relates to external counsel, we basically outsource litigation, which is commercial litigation and human rights claims. And we also will work with outside counsel for specific expertise, which is outside the rail industry. What goals do we have for the legal department in 2020? Well, our goals are to continue to adequately support our two major projects, which is the fleet replacement project and the high-frequency rail project. We're also looking to develop a 3-year strategic plan, and we're going to be reviewing our mission, our values, and our objectives to make sure that we remain relevant in Via Rail's ever-changing transformational agenda.